Okay, this is one of the example on your homework. It's 16G. This question is different from the one we did earlier. So you're given a graph, and then reversely is asked you to determine what kind of function, the algebraic function, which actually asks you to determine A, B, C, D here. Okay, so if you understand, so this function is transformed from y equals sine x. So and then you understand what is the mean for if you have a C here, D here, A here, B here, and then you can, determine each one accordingly. For example, if this one has to be transformed to y equals A sine B x plus C plus D. So you can always pick the easy one. The original function, there's only one here. From here, this is called the equilibrium line, right? So this is the equilibrium line. And starting from here, if you go up to the maximum, it's supposed to be 1. So now you can count from here is 1, 2, 3. So it's 2. Now it's 2. So this is, since this is 2, so obviously this is going to be the A, because 1 becomes 2. You have to have the A to have a vertical stretch. So we got A equals 2 right away. And then the other easy one, if you look at this line is actually y equals 1. And initially it's should be in the x-axis, right? So since x-axis is y equals 0, so you can see we had a vertical displacement, a vertical translation 1 unit up. So that means you can tell from here, so the D should be 1. Okay, and also you look at the C. The C is actually it's a horizontal translation. Now because A is positive, so that means the graph does not have a vertical reflection. So and then this is gonna be your starting point for the y equals sine x. Basically, the starting point comes to here, which is 4, 1. Originally, it should be 0, 0, right? So 0, 0. So this point transform to this. So you can tell there is 4 units to the right horizontal translation. So you can see that's the C. From here you can tell C equals 4. Okay, so the other thing is you need to decide the B. The B is actually tells you how much horizontal expansion or compression. So if you count the period starting from here to here, let's see how much period is for this transformed. So if you count this, -2 to +2 10, so you should get right away this is 12. So basically the original P equals 2 pi. Now the new P, I put a P prime equals 12. So you can tell this is expansion, right? So you can tell this is a horizontal expansion. And by effect of what? So you can easily see it's use just P prime over 2 pi. Sorry, just use P, which is 12 over 2 pi. So you should get 6 over pi. No, that's not the b, right? B, it's opposite. So actually from here you can tell b is actually 1 over this, which is a reciprocal of this. So it should equal pi over 6. Okay, so if you connect, put everything in, so the new function is going to be y equals 2 sine pi over 6, and then x. C is actually because it's 4 units to the right, so you have to subtract 4, and then the d is 1 plus 1. Yes, if you write the c as positive here, so kind of problematic. So I would rather change this, to minus. This one is also minus. That would be more appropriate. Okay, that's actually for the 1 when the a is greater than 0. So let's look at a 2 when the a is less than 0. So when a is less than 0, so we know vertically it's not only stretch but also vertical reflection. So after reflection, the graph should looks like this, and then this is gonna be your starting point, right? So everything else should be the same. Yeah, let's first of all write on everything. It remain the same. For example, d still equals 1, and the b, because b determine the horizontal transformation or the new period, it should still be b over 6. So the only difference is the a. Now since a is negative, and then the a must be negative 2, right? Because 2 is the amplitude, which determined by this is still a equals 2, so it becomes negative. And the only difference is about the c. So since it has a reflection, so the shape, we count the starting point of the initial graph is this. This is the starting point, and then for a standard y equals sine x, it should start from here, right? So basically, you can count. Of course, 0, 0 is here, right? But if you only look at it horizontally, you can see. So this point transformed to this point. Horizontally, there is negative 2 horizontal translation, right? So then you should get the c equals negative 2, right? Which you put it, because this is minus c, actually eventually you should get a positive. So that's the equation we can write here. So y should equals negative 2 sine pi over 6, then x minus negative 2, which is plus 2, and then plus 1. Everything else is the same. Okay, so you need to understand the and of course we give all the names to the A, B, C, D, right? It's really there is a fancy names for all this A, B, C, D, but the key skill here you need to understand, it's all about a transformation. Okay, for example, the A is really the vertical expansion, effect of expansion. D is just vertical translate, and C is horizontal translate. And then the B is expansion, which we have to do a little bit more to calculate what is the period, right? But the period is really depending on how much you expanded or how much you compacted, compressed. So okay, the other question, like the 16 age, is also based on the graph. So but it asks you to write cos. So very similar, right? Just depend on what's the initial function, y equals cos x, and how you think they transform to this graph, and you'll figure it out. Okay.